They say in the city your value gets measured by the size of your bank account, by the shine on your shoes, by the table you can afford to sit at. For me, my value was measured in coffee stains on aprons, double shifts at a job that never paid enough, and the constant rattle of coins in a jar that never seemed to fill. My name is Elena Morales. I'm 24, and for years I was invisible, just another waitress slipping between tables in a glass-walled restaurant 50 floors above Chicago. But here's the thing, before all that I wasn't invisible at all. I was somebody. My childhood was full of music, real music. My father taught choir at the local high school. My mother played violin with the state orchestra. I grew up under their roof with a piano so big it took up half our living room. At 4 years old, I could reach the keys. At 10, I was playing Chopin with my feet barely touching the pedals. At 16, I was the kid winning international competitions, the one professors whispered about, a once-in-a-generation prodigy, Juilliard-bound, untouchable. My future was loud and bright and unstoppable. Then a truck didn't see a stop sign one rainy October, and in one instant, I went from child of music to orphan. My parents gone. My little brother Mateo at a friend's house, me home with the flu. We survived, but the music didn't. I couldn't touch the piano without shaking. I sold the house to pay debts, kept Mateo close, and told myself survival was the only song I had left to play. Fast forward 6 years. My hands, once known for their speed, across ivory keys, were now nicked by kitchen knives carrying trays instead of melodies. Mateo had grown into a tall, gifted artist with charcoal always staining his fingers. When he opened the letter from the Rhode Island School of Design summer program, I felt both pride and dread. Pride that he had inherited our parents' spark. Dread that the program cost $10,000 we didn't have. I told him I'd figure it out. I always said that. But that night, staring at the stack of bills, I felt the lie burning in my chest. A week later came the night that changed everything. Our restaurant was rented out for the birthday of Adrian Whitford, the 30-something heir to a global shipping empire. You know the type. Money in the bloodline, arrogance in the eyes, cruelty wrapped up in a perfect Tom Ford suit. The staff was warned, don't make mistakes, don't be noticed, and above all, don't cross him. Easy enough, I thought. Until I walked past his table and caught the eye of the woman on his arm. Her name was Catherine Vale. Years ago, she and I had shared practice rooms at Juilliard's prep program. She'd always been second best, always chasing me, smiling through clenched teeth when I won competitions. And now here she was, Adrian's fiancée, dressed in silver, her smile stiff as glass. She stared at me like I was a ghost. Then she whispered, "My God, Elena Morales. You're her." Adrian's head snapped around. You know, the waitress Catherine didn't deny it. She said my name again like it was both a curse and a confession. She was a prodigy. They said she was the next Argerich. Adrian's grin spread like fire catching dry wood. He smelled entertainment. He saw an opportunity to turn my past into his party trick. He slammed his knife against a glass, silencing the room. "Ladies and gentlemen," he boomed, "tonight we are blessed with more than champagne. We are blessed with talent. Our very own server here is none other than Elena Morales, Juilliard's fallen star. And wouldn't we all love to hear her play?" Every eye in the room swung my way. My stomach dropped. "No," I said softly. "I don't play anymore." Adrian chuckled. "Oh, don't be shy. A little tune for your tip jar." I said no. That single word spoken in front of his crowd was enough to light the fuse. He pulled a wallet from his jacket, peeled off crisp hundreds. $1,000. Play one song. I swallowed hard. Rent money right there. But I shook my head. 5,000 then. 5 minutes of your time. His friends laughed like jackals circling. 5,000, half of Mateo's tuition. I clenched my fists. Heard my brother's voice in my mind saying, "I can just work with you at the restaurant, Elena." No, he deserved more. Adrian saw me hesitate and leaned in, his voice a whisper with the sharp edge of a knife. 10,000. Right now. Enough for whatever it is you're struggling with. All you have to do is play. He knew nothing about Matteo, but he knew desperation when he smelled it. The room was silent. I felt like he'd stripped me bare in front of everyone. Pride against survival, dignity against my brother's future. I looked at the money spread across his table, then at his smirk, and something inside me shifted. My fear hardened into something else. "Fine," I said, my voice hollow. "I'll play." The crowd cheered. Adrian basked in it, certain he'd broken me. I walked toward the glossy black concert piano gleaming in the corner. Each step felt like I was walking back through every loss: my parents, my music, my own sense of self. The bench felt foreign beneath me, my apron absurd in front of that magnificent instrument. I set my hands on the keys. They trembled. A couple of guests tittered. Adrian called out smug, "Any decade now, Morales." I closed my eyes. At first, nothing. My mind blank. My body frozen. Then I thought of Matteo. His sketches pinned all over the wall of our tiny apartment. His eyes when he said he'd give up his dream for me. That love cracked the ice inside me. And suddenly, I wasn't scared anymore. My fingers crashed down on the keys, unleashing Chopin's revolutionary etude with a fury I didn't know I still had. The first chord was a thunderclap. Conversations died mid-sentence. Glasses slipped from hands. It wasn't polished cocktail music. It was war. 6 years of grief, rage, and love poured out in a storm of notes that shook the chandelier. Adrian's smirk vanished. Catherine's face went pale. And the crowd, these hardened elites, were struck dumb, jaws slack, as the storm swallowed them whole. My hands flew faster than they ever had at competitions, faster than memory itself. It wasn't performance anymore. It was survival, confession, resurrection. By the time the final crashing chord rang out, the room was still as a church. 10 seconds of silence, wholly stunned silence, before one man began to clap. Professor Ivanov, a guest conductor from Juilliard, stood with tears in his eyes. "Elena Morales," he said loud enough for all to hear, "you were always the most gifted pianist I taught. And now, you are something more." This was not entertainment. This was truth. The crowd erupted not in polite applause, but in a roar that shook the windows. People stood, faces lit with awe. My name rippled across the room in whispers. "Elena Morales." Adrian, red-faced, had lost control of his circus. Catherine picked up the pile of money, walked to him, and with fire in her voice spat, "You are a pathetic man." Then she threw the cash in his face, the bills fluttering down like confetti over his ruined pride. "We're finished." And she walked out, heels clicking like gunshots. I rose from the bench, spine straight. I looked at Adrian, at the money scattered at his feet. "My music isn't for sale," I said quietly, "and it damn sure isn't for your amusement." Then I turned my back on him and walked out through the staff door, leaving behind a room that now whispered my name with respect. That night, for the first time in years, I didn't feel invisible. I didn't feel broken. I felt free. The story didn't end there. Professor Ivanov called me 2 days later, offering me a graduate assistant position at Juilliard, a full scholarship to finish what I'd abandoned. And a week after that, an anonymous benefactor set up a trust to cover every cent of Matteo's education. The exact $10,000 Adrian had tried to use as a leash came back to us as a gift. When I uncovered our old piano at home dust sheet falling away, I placed my hands on the keys without fear. Matteo sat cross-legged with his sketchbook drawing me as I played Debussy's Clair de Lune. Soft, hopeful like moonlight spilling through clouds. For the first time, our apartment felt alive again. His pencil moving, my music flowing. It was a duet, a promise, a future. And now I wonder, what do you think? Was I right to take that seat, to let humiliation become my fuel, to let him push me back to the keys? Or should I have refused to play at all, no matter the cost? Tell me in the comments, because I want to hear your stories about pride, about dignity, about the hidden talents you've buried. Do you believe everyone has a price? Or do you believe some things like music, like love, can never be bought?